All right, there it is. We're live. We're live on the gram over here. We're live on YouTube over here. We're live on Facebook as well. Welcome to the live stream. If you don't know who I am, I'm your host, Jason Brown, stock market coach and options trader at the brownreport.com and creator of Power Trades University. And we're hanging out today. We're just talking about the stock market because the market has been crazy with a lot of volatility. And if you're not really into the stock market, you're like, what in the world is volatility, Jason Brown? And so it just means the stock market's been up, it's been down big, up big, down big. There's been a lot of whipsawing action kind of going on. But the cool part about it is that whipsaw action has been creating a lot of opportunity for us in the stock market. So we've had some moments where we were able to day trade or short-term trade, 24, 48-hour type trades, pull in some pretty cool profits. Now we got some stuff going on where, we got some trades that ain't got nothing to do with Trump and trade war. And now that they're rebounding, they're moving pretty good. So just want to jump on, chat with you guys, see where you're at, what's going on in your world, share with you what's going on in my world as far as the stock market goes. And then any questions you got, feel free to ask them or type them in the box below. I'll do my best to answer them. So let's start with, I got Angela over here monitoring the chat. So let's start with the state of the current stock market. We posted a video when the market was at all-time high. So if you haven't seen that video, where is it at? It's on Instagram, and it's on YouTube. So it's on Instagram, it's on YouTube. And by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, there it is. There's the Instagram handle. And then if you're not following us on YouTube or subscribe to our YouTube channel, make sure you click the subscribe button to follow us over there. But we posted a video on YouTube when the market had hit like its all-time highs. We had two of the same basic events that happened. You had the Fed come out and speak. Maybe a couple of days later, you had Trump tweeting about China and trade war. And so right before that happened, we was telling our members, like, look, it's time to kind of button up our bullish trades and maybe switch over to going bearish. And this is where the power of learning how options work comes into play, because most people, they only know how to make money if the market goes up. But we all know the market doesn't always go up. And so when that switch happened, the Fed spoke, then you had Trump tweeting that China, the trade deal is off. Almost immediately, we got 2-3 days worth of selling off. But that created an opportunity for us to jump in, grab some put options, play the market to the downside, right? Which is mostly unheard of to most people. It's like, how do you make money from stocks falling? Well, that is a thing when you trade, when you know how to buy and sell put options, because you're basically forcing somebody to buy it at a higher price. So if you got a $30 put option and the stock falls to 20, you can actually force somebody to buy it at 30, right? So then there's a $10 spread there that you could potentially make minus the cost that you pay for the actual options. And so that's what we did, and we posted that video on Instagram. It's on IGTV, Angela. Yep. All right, so it's on our IGTV on Instagram and then YouTube. Did we even post it on Facebook?
Yeah, we posted on Facebook too.
It's on Facebook too. So I mean, I guess wherever you're at, you can check out the video. But I think YouTube got like the full 27-minute version or 17-minute version, whatever that is. All right. So that was that. But now where are we at today? All right. Market sold off. Boom. We found a floor where some buyers and support coming in. But more importantly, we found a few stocks that had nothing to do with China and trade war. And when I tell you we are up big right now, I'm saying we. And when I say we, all right, keep in mind, I'm not saying Jason Brown is up big, even though I am. I'll bring you the case study once the trade is over. I never like to bring the case study while a trade is going on, because profit isn't profit until you close it out. A loss isn't a loss until you close it out. But we're up pretty majorly in the profit on this trade. It's going to be one heck. I don't want to cuss. It's going to be one heck of a case study once we post it. But the members is who I'm excited about, because the members are capitalizing on this trade as well. And man, there's a few of these bad boys, and they're going ultra and super right now. So I'm just curious, wherever you're at, Number one, do you know how to trade call and put options? So do you know how to supercharge your trades when the markets are doing good? And do you know how to profit when the markets are doing bad? Do you know how to protect your portfolio? Because honestly, if you don't, that's not a bad thing. But the problem with it is there's so much opportunity and it's just passing you by, right? And so most people just kind of sit on their hands, or they say stuff like, I'm glad I'm not in the stock market. I heard the Dow fell over 500 points the other day. We was in there like, grab puts on everything, guys, right? Grab some puts on, I think, Micron. We had puts on CRM. We had puts on XOM, the XLK. You name it. We had puts like spread across the board. And so when the market tanked, it was like, I almost felt un-American. I almost felt un-American making money from stocks actually like falling and losing money. You know what I'm saying? So it almost felt un-American. But the reality is making money is American, right? And that's what we're about. We're about profit, not only profit, but that's one of the things people come here for. It's the land of opportunity. We come here for opportunity to be able to make profit. So that's what the put options allow you to do. So I'm just curious on this live stream, what's going on? Where are you at with your trading? Whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, let me know in the comments. Where are you at with learning how the stock market works, getting involved in the game? Talk to me. Instagram. And I got something for you too. I'm going to tell you about it in about, I don't know, in a few minutes. But I just want to give you guys a chance to ask any questions or just share with me what's going on with you. Were you nervous when the market pulled back? Where are you at right now that the market is rebounding? Are you taking advantage of what's going on? Let me know. I'm curious. Kevin Ronnie on YouTube says WMT puts. So I think you're saying, should we buy puts on Walmart? That's the ticker symbol Walmart. I definitely wouldn't do that. They announced earnings today. Looks like earnings were pretty good. So I'm not sure that I would go there with puts. B Legend on YouTube says, I'm new to trading and ready to learn. Well, welcome to the channel. Terrence Turner, I'm new to and ready to learn. Welcome. Chris Like, put options on NOW. Now, let's see. What's going on over here on Instagram? I mean it says, I need help with my scanners and screeners. That's tough to do over Instagram because I can't see your screen. I don't know what software you're using. So that's a little tough. But let me know what trading platform you're using. I'm just curious. The Real Kemen on Instagram says, been saving my money and waiting on my tax return to get started with Power Trades University. Hey, man, when you get your tax returns, we'll be ready for you. But here's the thing. When you get your tax returns, don't put real money to work in the stock market. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. People wait till they have money before they actually learn the information. And so what happens is then you get the money, but you don't have the information. So get the information. Then when the money comes, you'll be ready. If they come at the same time, I'm here to tell you, do not invest your tax return. Set it off to the side. Get the knowledge, and then you want to practice or paper trade first just to make sure you understand what you think you understand. Because once the trade goes live and you got real money on the line, your emotions kick in and there's no forgiveness if you hit the wrong button or you actually don't know what you're doing. All right, I'm going to get back to YouTube in 1 second. I have, what do we got? We got Arts Pipeline. So what's the difference between stock market and Forex? So Forex is foreign exchange, all right? So foreign exchange is trading currency. So if you're watching the news or you're following currency, you'd be like, well, the US dollar rose 60 cent to the Japanese yen or Chinese yen or something like that, all right? So if you are holding US dollars currency, right, and it rose 60 cents, well, you can exchange that currency and pick up that 60 cent profit, so to speak. And it's not just U.S. currency. You could be trading Mexican pesos or something like that. So you're trading currency. Currency typically trades 24 hours a day, 7 days a week around the world because somebody's currency or market is open. that's one of the biggest difference. I'm not a forex trader, foreign exchange or currency trader. I like the stocks and stock market because I'm valuing companies. I'm valuing patterns that people trading patterns that show up in the chart. They have to announce earnings every 3 months, which is once a quarter, 4 times a year, so I can get an update on how I feel about the company, and then gauge my game plan from there. So that's going to be the biggest difference between forex and the stock market. All right. Let me see here on Facebook. We got Vishru says, "What do you think about Uber?" So I like Uber as a service, right? Being able to drive, but as a company, it's hard for me to put money into a company that loses money. They're not profitable yet. And so because Uber is a brand new IPO and they just started trading, I stay away from it because number one, it doesn't have a tradable pattern. So I teach and I like to trade patterns, 3 patterns specifically. And so if the stock is brand new, it doesn't have a pattern just yet, right? I don't know where support is at, resistance. I mean, I don't know where people like to buy it, where people like to sell it. I don't have any type of pattern. So I typically stay away from that. And Uber, Lyft, Pinterest, all those just released new IPOs and they kind of fall in that category. Now, after maybe 60 days, 90 days of trading, and they've released about maybe 2 earnings reports, then I can start to see where the trading pattern is at and if it's going to be a good idea for me to put some capital to work. But the key, at least for what I teach, right, there's many different thought processes and ideologies out there. But for what I teach is not so much about what the company does, is more so about what the chart says is going to do. And then if the chart looks nice, the predictable, repeatable pattern looks nice, then I kind of maybe research what the company does and then I'll put money behind it. But first, it's always about the chart. And right now, Uber doesn't really have a predictable, repeatable pattern chart. So I got to stay away from it. So that's my thoughts on the Uber piece. Our Aaron Nett says, "Just did it, talking to self." What does that mean?
Just do it.
Oh, just do it? Oh, just do it. All right. Yeah, like a Nike shoe. Just do it. All right. Margaret on Facebook says, "This is a common question that we get. How much money do you need to start?" So Angela, maybe you could post a link. We got a link to how much money you need to get started. We did a whole podcast, blog post about it. So maybe Angela can throw that in the comments. But that question typically pops up almost every time. How much money do I need to get started? So here's how I'll answer that. I started with $500. Man, it's been about 16, 17 years ago. I'm not sure. I started with $500. I worked for Sprint PCS and the stock was trading for $5 a share. And so I bought 100 shares for $5 because I made $8 an hour. So $8 times an 8-hour shift was $64. After you took taxes out, it's $50. So my thought process was, if I can buy 100 shares and it just moves 50 cents, I can make $50. Now, I'm not including taxes or commission, but I could make $50 and I wouldn't have to work weekends. I could take a Saturday off or something and be like, I already made my $50. So for me, it was okay to get started with $500 for the stock that I wanted to trade. And so I think the key is not necessarily how much money do you need to get started, but is your expectations in alignment with the amount that you get started with. So when I got started with 500, my expectation was only to make $50. So that was my game plan. If you come in with $500 today, some people come in with 500 and they're like, I want to leave my job. And it's like, that's not realistic with $500, especially if you have a $50, $60, $70,000 a year job. And now you're trying to come over here with $500 and like make enough money to quit your job. It's just not realistic. Or should I say, everything's realistic, but there are unrealistic time frames. So you could take 500 and eventually grow it to quit your job, but that's not going to happen in 12, 24 months, anything like that. That's going to take some time. That might take you 10 years if you're just starting with $500. But we got a link that we'll post down there that'll tell you exactly, our thoughts around how much money do you need to get started.
And we got this too.
Oh, you know what? This is probably a good time to talk about the starter pack. You're right. All right. Can you do me a favor? Can you get my charger? I think it might be in my
Laptop
room,
or phone?
my laptop one.
Yeah.
We're on like 13%. All right, so this is probably a good time to talk about something we put together, which is called the stock market starter pack right here. So Instagram, I think it's in our link on our profile on Instagram. And then if you're on Facebook, if you comment with the word starter, we'll send you a link to download this. And then YouTube, just leave a comment below as well. Or leave us a comment on YouTube or reach out to us after the video is over. We can send you a link to it too. But what we do in this starter pack, though, we actually, can you see that? We walk you through how much money you need to get started. We walk you through, here, I'm trying to read this upside down. How much money you need to get started, understanding the 3 most important stock trends, understanding what tools you need to get started. We break down the formulas and stuff that you need to figure out how much money you want to make and what type of time frame. All that stuff is in here. So, I mean, it's a lot of cool stuff. We're walking you through chart patterns, all kind of stuff. So you can download this. This is a free resource because a lot of people don't know where to get started. And so we put together the stock market starter pack. So this really could help you out. So check that out. And then let me get back to some of these questions that might be coming in here. Let's see. Yeah, it's called a stock market starter pack. So that'd be good for you to download. Is my charger not in there?
No.
It might be in my bag.
I checked your bag.
You checked the bag, even in the front? That's all right. We got 10%. I tell you what, if this goes low, I'll let you entertain everybody on camera before we die. All right, before the battery dies. Let me roll over here to YouTube. YouTube says, trading on Robinhood newbie. I did a whole video about Robinhood trading, and I had a link on my YouTube channel. So if you sign up for Robinhood through my link, you'll get a free stock. I'll get a free start. It's a good way to get started. You'll get your first free stock. It's a cool platform, but I don't use it for the power trading that I do. So when I'm trading options, putting multiple 6 figures to work, I do not do that with Robinhood. I just like Robinhood for getting a free stock and checking some basic quotes. But I use Charles Schwab Street Smart Edge, which I talk about that in here, the platform that I use. I use Charles Schwab Street Smart Edge, and I use TD Ameritrade for practicing strategies or doing paper trading. And we did a whole video on that as well. Terrence Turner says, I watched your free training and opened my Charles Schwab account. They declined my options account at this time. So here's the thing with options, all right? If you're trying to get into trading options, which is what we do primarily, we hardly ever buy actual stock. That charger is like, oh, you know what? The charger's probably in my bedroom, man.
Really?
Yeah, you can go around the corner and bust a right. Yeah, my man Angelo trying to get the charger for us. It's on the other side of the bed, I think. All right, so. If you're not getting approved to trade options in your account, this is a very common thing, all right? What is happening now, I've been trading options for so long that it's not like I had to get approved for it recently. I've been trading over 16 years. But what's happening is that the brokerage companies are trying to protect people from themselves. You know what I'm saying? So most people don't know how options work. And so what happens is they come in, they trade options. My man with the, let me show y'all Angelo hooking this up with the, we got the charger there.
We got it. In the clutch.
Yeah, most people don't know how to trade options. And so when they place an option trade and it goes bad or it goes against them, they want to say the brokerage company shouldn't have let me trade options. I didn't know what I was doing, etc. I can plug it in. Got it. So because most people don't know what they're doing, they're not approving people. But depending on how you answer the questions, okay, so they typically ask you a few different questions. They typically ask you, number one, what's your trading objective? So if you say your trading objective is safety and security, you're probably going to get declined for options. Number two, they're going to say, how long have you been trading options? If you say 0, you're probably going to get declined for options, okay? And so if you took a course or something like mine, you typically want to say you've been trading for 1 year or that you've taken some type of course. The third thing is they're going to ask what your net worth is. Well, number 3, they're going to ask you, how do you come up with your money to trade in the stock market? And if you lost that money, would you be devastated? So if you're like, I'm using my job and if I lost it, I'd be devastated, they're probably not going to approve you to trade options. And then the fourth thing is your net worth. They're going to say, how much are you worth? You can't necessarily control your net worth, all right? But typically, I'm starting to see them, I don't want to say discriminate. I'm starting to see them be a little bit more strict on people who don't have a certain net worth when they come in and try to trade options. So one of the things that you can do is if you've taken a course or a class and you truly understand options, they typically will ask you a couple questions. Say, hey, if this happened, what would happen? You have to be prepared to answer those questions on the spot or on the phone. If not, say, hey, give me a minute. Let me write this down. Let me work out the math, and then I'll answer your question. But don't be pressured to just throw out an answer or say you don't know. Because sometimes they'll pressure you on the phone. Like, if you can't answer this question, we can't approve you. And you'll be like, okay, let's draw it out. Let's walk through it. And then second, the second thing you could do is if you truly understand how options work and you understand the risk, you can call them up and ask, is there a disclaimer or a release form that I can sign that says, hey, I want to release you guys of any responsibility of any money that I'll lose trading options. And typically that's just to cover their butt because they're regulated by the SEC and people be saying, oh, they just approved me trade options so they can get commission off me. I didn't know what I was doing. I lost all my money. And so they basically want to cover themselves from people who don't really know what they're doing. So those are a couple things that you can do to try to get approved for options. Someone said, what's my Instagram handle? We'll throw that up here on the screen. There's my Instagram handle. There's Brooke with the baby. You did kind of walk into the camera. Which is, no, that's cool. Here's my daughter. Let's bring baby K into this. Ooh.
It's a party at the Brown.
Here's my daughter. Say what's up to the people on Instagram. Look, she got a little romper outfit on. Look at her. She's styling. Get it, girl. Oh. Get it. And then that's YouTube right there, and that's Facebook. She like, boy, what is he talking about? I just see myself. Anyway, so I'll hang out. I'll hold her for a few.
Okay.
All right, so we got baby Kayla hanging out with us here. So let me get back to the screen. I kind of lost my focus here. I got a couple questions coming in here on YouTube. Jason, are you going to teach about cannabis stocks in the near future? So we had a couple cannabis trades that we made some money on. We had a few that we lost money on. We had some that we... Okay. I might have to give her back. All right. Yeah, can you... I'm going to have to give her... All right. She going to be hollering in the mic. Say bye to everybody. Say bye to Instagram. Bye to Graham. Bye Facebook. Bye YouTube. All right. Okay. So, all right. I lost my focus. Man. It's so cool being home with my daughter midday. What was we talking about? Cannabis stock. Yep. All right. Someone asked. Who asked that? Am I going to teach about cannabis stock? So we did trade some cannabis stock. It's nothing specific to teach about on it. It's more about the charts and is this a good time to buy or sell a cannabis stock. And so when it becomes a good time to buy it again, we may look at it. But right now it's been kind of flat and doing nothing. And so in the stock market, if your money's just tied up doing nothing, even though you're not losing money, you have opportunity costs. You're missing out on other trades or positions you could have been in that could have been making you money. And so for that reason, we're kind of passing on the cannabis stocks right now. Ricardo on YouTube says, is the stock market, do your thing in the stock market. Do you think the market is going to back to stable state after China and the U.S. trade news? Well, here's the cool thing about China and the U.S. trade news is if you know how to trade put options, you can capitalize on these sell-offs and these down pullbacks every time there's a trade spat or a trade tweet. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll be back to normal. Honestly, what is normal? If we win the trade war, we should probably take off to new heights because that means, I guess, we got access to the Chinese market. We've kind of, put some things in place where our intellectual property won't get stolen. We can export and sell more goods to them. So what is normal? I don't think there'll have to be a new normal after the trade war because if we lose it, what does that say? If we win it, define winning it. And if we win it, then that should be positive for our economy, for our exports, for everything. And so we go higher from there. If we lose, we go lower from there. If this plays out for another year or two, then I think we're going to have a new normal of this volatility as well as, what's that going to look like for inflation if we're all paying 25% more for certain goods because almost everything is imported from China until people can set up factories in different other places. And then how much are the American people willing to pay just so that we can stick it to China, right? I mean, we might be willing to pay an extra 25 cents for a car charger that's imported from China. We might be willing to pay an extra $200 for our car because the components come from China if it means that, we're supporting our president in this whole trade war piece. So, that just, that's just a very interesting time right now. So I don't know what the new normal is, you know what I'm saying? Whether we win or quote unquote, whether we lose it or not. Let me switch over here to Instagram. Any questions you got, type them in, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Let us know. We're answering your questions. We're talking about the stock market. We're coming off a high, off some trades that we're in that are working pretty well right now. And I just want to see how you guys are doing. All right, so let me see. Midnight said, tried to download the starter pack, received an email and clicked download and nothing happened. All right, my team, Angelo's over here. Let me show you. Angelo's over here working on that. So can we look into that? Yeah. We'll look into that and figure out what happened with you. I don't think that happened to anybody else. So let us look into that for you. All right. But and if you don't know what the starter pack is, if you joined a little late, boom, we put together this entire PDF file, cheat sheet, formulas. There's charts in here. There's all kind of stuff to help you get started on your journey with the stock market, how to open your first trading account, all kind of cool stuff. So please check that out. And if you're on Facebook, you can type the word starter and we have a bot set up. It'll be like, hey, are you sure you want to download it? You say yes, then it'll send you the link and all that good stuff. All right, YouTube, we got Chris says, do you ever use an iron condor? There are times and places for an iron condor. I don't typically like to use an iron condor in a highly volatile market. Why? Because the stock market could shoot up and then I'm wondering if I'm going to get caught out on my top end. Then it could fall quickly and I'm wondering if I'm going to get caught out on my bottom end. So I don't like to use an iron condor in a highly volatile market. I would prefer to use an iron condor when things are kind of sideways because the way you win for the most part on the iron condor is if the stock stays range bound, so you can win on the top end and win on the bottom. So that's typically how I like to use it in maybe a lower volatility type market. If you don't know what iron condor is, it's like buying a call, selling the call, buying the put, selling the put. You're kind of doing two spreads on the top and the bottom. Condor is a bird with wings. I like to do covered calls, spreads, different things like that. If I own the stock, sell options against it. I like those better. I get a more consistent return, or just buying the straight option and doing a spread. 88-bit Cube on YouTube says, my question is about REITs. If you're not familiar with a REIT is a real estate investment trust. That's what the REIT stands for. He says, REIT stocks. I know with regular stocks, you pay your taxes at the end of the year when you sell, but how does it work with REITs, especially with dividends? So REITs work the same way. A REIT is, even though it's a collection of stocks, it itself is still a stock. So if you close it out, you're going to have to pay taxes on that. If you get paid dividends, you're going to have to pay taxes on that. We actually just did a whole episode about taxes. Did that come out today?
It just released this
yesterday,
week.
right?
Yeah.
We did a whole episode on taxes. If you're on iTunes or if you use Stitcher Radio, you can listen to the Money Markets and Mindset podcast. That's my podcast, the Money Markets and Mindset podcast. Can you type that in on YouTube?
Yeah.
Or give them a link or something like that? And
I'll actually link the blog.
You'll link the blog. All right, cool. He's gonna put the blog link in on YouTube if you want to check out the blog for the one we just did about taxes. But it was a pretty good episode. What is next with legislatively? I'm not sure. I'm not really following legislation right now. Primarily everything that's taking place is the trade war. Barnabas, appreciate that, brother. Let me see. Kip on Facebook says, ask one question of this person. Do they trade in the pre-market if they don't, consider another company. I don't trade pre-market because that's just not my thing. There's typically not enough volume. Typically, pre and post market is institutional money, right? So when you put money in your 401k account, stuff like that, Fidelity typically has to spend that money by the end of the day. So they typically buy on the closing price. So at 4 o'clock, whatever that price is, they typically send their orders to the market and they get filled after hours. The market's closed. Typically, they get filled and those shares go into your 401k or whatever the case may be. So as an individual trading after hours, not really advised and not really a profitable strategy. Swing on over here to Instagram here. Let's see here. We got NY2 Dart says, when doing a spread, do you sell the same amount of contracts as you buy? You could. You could do half and half if you want to let half move up and then you want to protect half, you can do that. But typically, when I'm doing the spread, I sell the same amount of contracts of the options I own. So if I own $150 strike price options, I would sell 155 strike price options, right? So that it's 1-for-1 covered in case the market turns against me, or if it runs higher, I get called out on the whole 100 contracts. But you may say I'm only going to sell half of it because I want half of it to run and half of it to be covered. So it really, there is no hard and fast rule. It really depends on what your game plan is. That's the whole thing. Once you learn the tactics and the strategies, what's your game plan? Because my game plan might be different. My game plan might be get maximum profit. Your game plan might be maximum protection. So it just really... it really depends on what your game plan is. You want maximum protection, you'd sell dollar for dollar or the exact same number of options that you bought because you want to be protected to the maximum, potential, so to speak. All right. So, I feel like I've been like rapid fire with these questions here. So what's up? What else you guys got for me?
Somebody did ask on Facebook. I don't know if you answered this, but they asked, where's a good place to access any particular company's chart to analyze them?
Where's a good place to access any particular company's chart? Gosh, I mean, you could go to CBS Market Watch and look at the chart. I think the best place is to open up a brokerage account, right, with TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, something like that. And you can use their charting software. So they have free charting software. There's like no one particular place, but if you open a trading account, you get access to free charting software. So I would open a brokerage account. You don't have to have any money to open a brokerage account. It's free and get access to their free tools. So that's what I would use to analyze stock charts. I now use like premium software that I pay for because I'm building scans, I'm searching for stuff. I like to save my charts, write on them, annotate. There's all kind of additional stuff you can do with premium software. But if you just want to be able to look at a chart, you can do it on cbsmarketwatch.com. You can do it on the Robinhood app. But sometimes those charts are like, they're small on your phone and you don't have much control over them. So I really would recommend opening a brokerage account and using those free tools because that's where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Brokerage companies are giving away tools like crazy now, and for the most part, it's because they make their money off commission. Like they want your commission, so that's they'll give you the tools for free. All right. Have you ever thought about adding crypto to your program? I've been making a killing trading Bitcoin Cash and Dogecoin. No, cryptocurrency is just not my thing. I don't understand it. I don't know why it goes up. I don't know why it goes down. And for that reason, I typically will not bring in, for that reason, I typically won't promote something I don't understand. So I can't be a master of everything. I pretty much like to master stocks and options, but I definitely can't master something that I don't even understand. And Bitcoin, I just don't understand it. It's all speculative. It's non-regulated. I don't know who owns it. I don't know where I would go to pull it out, where I would go to deposit money. I hear about these coin exchanges crashing or getting hacked. So there's no insurance. Just all stuff that it's like, if I have the full U.S. stock market and options to trade, why even open myself up and subject myself to that industry? And one thing I noticed about Bitcoin, there was a time where it was like super hot and everybody was like, oh, I'm a Bitcoin millionaire, I'm making all this money. I have not seen one of those people who claim they made millions of dollars from Bitcoins, including my cousin and people locally. He's like, I'm killing it. And it's like, well, and then I'm like, well, pull out the money. He's like, well, I can't pull it out yet. It's like, then you're not a millionaire if you can't pull it out, right? And I haven't heard one thing about Bitcoin since. So I don't understand it, and just not, my platform is just not the place to promote it because I don't understand it. So here's the thing. If there's no more questions, or if there's some new questions, feel free to type them in right now. If not, we're going to get ready to wrap this up in a minute. And again, if you're on Facebook, grab the starter kit, type the word starter in. We'll send it to you. If you're on Instagram, it's what? Link in our bio?
Yeah. I posted the link on YouTube as well.
Instagram, link in our bio. Link is posted on YouTube, except for when we end YouTube, it won't be there anymore in the lab. But we'll post it on the video. Kevin, YouTube says, what do you think about Think or Swim indicators for watching and monitoring the stocks? I like Thinkorswim. We did a whole YouTube video on the Thinkorswim platform. So look at the link on our YouTube channel. I think it was the most recent video we did. We just did a whole, it was pretty recent. One of the last 3. We did an entire video on the Thinkorswim platform. So check that out. And I'll walk you through charts, buying stock, buying options on that, the whole setup. It's pretty cool. So there it is. Kenneth on Facebook says, do you do any futures trading? Futures to me is just like trading after hours, like before the market opens and after the market closes. So no, I don't do any futures trading. That's, again, futures, Forex, commodities, Bitcoin, all that stuff is just outside of the realm of what I even want to do, want to learn about. I have no real interest in, I still understand it. Well, I understand futures, right? I understand pre and post market, but again, I don't like trading something that's open like 24 hours. Like, the market is stressful enough sometimes. It's nice to know that, it's going to close at 4 o'clock and we don't have to worry about it again till the next day at 9:30. So, I just stick with what I know and what I like. If you talk to a farmer, he going to be like, man, you should get into trading rice and beans. It's like, listen, I don't know rice and beans like you know rice and beans, right? Because that's a commodity, right? So there are people that trade crops and futures, Forex, is all kind of trading. Some people trade real estate, right? Some people trade cars. There's all kind of trading out there, but I'm sticking to stocks and options, baby. You know what I'm saying? This is a great question. So can I trade options and work 9 to 5? So thanks for asking that. And the reason I say thanks for asking that is most people think that it's like all or nothing or a zero-sum game. They think like, I have to quit my job if I'm going to trade in the stock market, which is totally not true, right? And so when I started, I had a part-time job. I was working at Sprint PCS. Then I had a full-time job, all right? And so trading, it's not like you can control whether the stock market goes up or down. So typically the trades that we place take anywhere between 30, 60, 90 days sometimes to mature. And so in those 30, 60, 90 days, you should be working a job, right? You should be doing something. For me, I don't work a job, but I'm running the business. I'm podcasting. I'm shooting YouTube videos. I'm putting out courses. I'm helping our students. I got some other stuff that, we do from a marketing standpoint. There's other things I do besides trade stocks and options all day long. I'm not sitting in front of a computer. Well, I am in front of a computer a lot, but not just because I'm trading. I'm researching. I might be podcasting, YouTubing, doing tutorials, other different things. So my point is, yes, you can trade stocks and options when you're working 9 to 5. In fact, I suggest you have a job when you get started, because that way you're not relying on the stock market to pay your bills. You're not relying on the stock market to pay your car note, because that's unnecessary stress that most people put on themselves and on learning the stock market. And the stock market doesn't necessarily care that your rent's due Friday. Like, the stock might not move up for another 30 days. They don't care that your rent's due Friday. And you're like, I need to make $1,000 today because I got rent due Friday. The stock market, like, who is you? I don't care, right? This market's going to do what it's going to do, and you don't have any control over that. So you do want to have some income that you do control. Like, hey, I put my hours in, I got paid. I put my hours in, I got paid. Or if you run a business, you got something else that you control. Big picture, what am I trying to say? You should have multiple streams of income, all right? I don't just rely on the stock market for my income, although we make some pretty decent money from it. I also have a business that brings in income. There's coaching clients and students that bring in income. There's marketing and different things I do that brings in income. So I don't have to put the pressure on the stock market to perform, if for some reason it's taking its time. My girl Elise Dharma is on here on Instagram. I always give her a shout out. If you're not following that girl, Elise Dharma, follow her at Elise, ELISEDARMA. She got like 70,000 followers or something. She's my Instagram hero. But more importantly, she's an entrepreneur. She's out of Canada. She's a hustler too. You don't find many female hustlers. But I love that she's taking the bull by the horns, running her business. She posts income reports, all kind of stuff. Travel blogger. She's doing her thing. So check her out. Especially if you want to learn how to make some money from home, become an Instagram influencer, something like that. Hit her up. Hit that follow button. Follow my girl right there. All right. What else we got? I'm looking at the stock market, and our trade is still up for the day. A lot of people in our group are making money, and I want you to be one of them. So as we get ready to sign off, don't forget to get your stock market starter pack. It's about 11 pages of pure stock market goodness, especially if you're a beginner and you don't know where to start. If you're on Facebook, type the word starter in there, and then our bot will send you a message that says, hey, do you really want to download this? And then just follow the prompts. If you're on YouTube, we posted a link as well. Make sure you subscribe, and then follow us on that platform. And always, you can follow me on the regular website, the Brown Report. I think we got one last question that came in. On Instagram, Decamas Prince. I hope I'm saying that right, man. What would you consider to be the best online trading site? PowerTradesUniversity.com. Boom, there it is right there. No, but in all honesty, in all truthfulness, there's a lot of guys doing some, I would say, decent stuff. I don't know if it's good or bad stuff because I don't really follow any other traders. So I can't say, oh, check out this site, check out that site, check out that site. But the brownreport.com, that's where I do all my blogs, my podcasts, and share all my stuff in there. Power Trades University is where my courses are located, our coaching, the community where you can chat with hundreds of other traders. We got hundreds of people in our program. Then I go live every week inside the community looking for real trades with real money and showing people what I'm thinking about buying, what I'm thinking about selling. I do a midweek update for our members. So obviously I'm going to promote my stuff, Power Trades University. But, to be fair, there's probably a lot of good websites out there. You know what I'm saying? But I only know about mine. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm joking. What's the best time of day to trade stocks by Millennium on YouTube? All right. I like to place all my trades between 3 and 4 p.m. The reason why is that you can look at the stock market in the morning at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you're like, oh, stock market's up. But by the end of the day, the stock market could be down. And so I like to place my trades between 3 and 4 o'clock to get into my trades. And typically if I'm getting out of my trades, I like to get out of my trades between 9:30 and 11:30 in the morning when we get like a big spike. If we get a big spike, I like to get out in the morning and then get in between 3 and 4 o'clock. Super Dave said I missed this question. Do you know what he asked? I don't know what he asked. Type it again, Super Dave. We'll probably make you the last question. What's the best?
I don't see anything.
I don't see a question either. Super Dave, retype your question on YouTube.
Right here.
You found it?
traded ORLY options on Robinhood and my sells wouldn't go through. Is it because it's a slower response on Robinhood or something with the bid and ask?
Okay, so Super Dave said I traded ORLY, which is O'Reilly. If you don't, we talking ticker symbols over here, right? He said his sales wouldn't go through. Is it because it's a slower response from Robinhood or something with the bid ask? So number one, I don't know if you put in a limit order. If you put in a limit order typically says like only take this price, nothing lower than that. And so if nobody's willing to pay that price, that might be why you didn't get filled. So that's number one. I'd have to see if you put in a limit order. Number two, Robinhood only has access to certain exchanges. So I typically like to trade with the bigger company like Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, etc., because they have access to all the exchanges. So there's the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, there's the Philadelphia Exchange, there's the Archipelago Exchange, I think the ISE. There's like a ton of different exchanges, right? So let's say there's just 5 exchanges, just for example. If Robinhood only has access to 1 or 2, you might not be able to get the best price. Or let's say you got 20 contracts and only the people on Robinhood's exchanges that they have access to only want to buy 10 contracts. They have nowhere to go to find you 10 more buyers or people who will take off those other 10 contracts. So if you said, I want to sell all 20 or nothing, then you might not get filled. So there could be a few reasons why you didn't get filled. Hey, you see Millennial's question? He asked what we think about BYND. We was just talking about that. If you guys aren't familiar with BYND, I posted this in our members area last night. I talked about this in the midweek update. I'm looking at Beyond Meat because people are really getting into the whole healthy lifestyle, not eating pork, stuff like that. And so Beyond Meat is a plant-based meat company. They just got some type of deal with Tim Hortons to do a plant-based sausage. I like them. The only thing is, I was just telling you, I don't really trade IPOs. So I would like to see what the new normal is going to be for that stock. But, I'm tempted to buy 1,000 shares and just let them sit. But I don't know that I would trade options on it yet because they don't have a predictable, repeatable pattern. But I am definitely watching that company because I think that's a new trend where things are going. So here's the thing. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I think we've been going about 45 minutes already. Wow. Time is flying. So hit me up on Instagram if you follow me on the gram. Send me a DM if you got questions. Facebook, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, tag a friend who needs to see this video or needs to be learning about the stock market. YouTube, hit the subscribe button. And whatever channel you're watching on, go follow us and subscribe on the other channel because we put out different content across all the different platforms. So there it is. I'll see you next time when we go live and we're going to watch the market close here in the next hour or so. All right. Peace.